Vikings QB Carson Wentz doesn't hold back on Justin Jefferson. Vikings QB Carson Wentz doesn't hold back on Justin Jefferson originally appeared on the Sporting News. The Minnesota Vikings came away with a dramatic 21-17 win over the Cleveland Browns on Sunday in London, England. Moreover, the Vikings secured a bounce-back victory after losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which was also played abroad in Dublin, Ireland. Vikings quarterback Carson Wentz completed 25 of 34 pass attempts for 236 passing yards and 1 touchdown. Furthermore, Wentz spread the ball around, but his go-to target was Justin Jefferson. Jefferson didn't record a touchdown in this game. However, he did register 7 receptions for 123 receiving yards in the win over Cleveland. Vikings QB Carson Wentz talks Justin Jefferson. After the game, Wentz spoke to the media and put a spotlight on his connection with Jefferson since taking over for the injured J.J. McCarthy in Week 3. "I mean, Justin's as good as it gets," Wentz told reporters post-game. "Been watching him for years from afar, so it's pretty fun to get a prime front-row seat. We missed a couple today. I missed a couple, gave him some chances, won a couple back. He's incredibly good. I'm just going to keep giving him those chances. We talked about things on the sideline and made sure we were on the same page. I can't say enough good things about him, not only as a receiver, but as a true leader for this team, the way he goes about his business, his work ethic. His catch run after tackle, breaking tackles, all the things. He does so many things at a high level. I can't say enough good things about him." More Vikings news. Vikings Jordan Addison gets strong message after beating Browns. The Vikings head into their bye week on a positive note. Additionally, this win can boost morale as they will face the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, on October 19th at US Bank Stadium. Minnesota will look to build a winning streak as they look to keep pace with fellow NFC North rivals, the Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, and Chicago Bears. Carson Wentz has never been one to sugarcoat his thoughts. Since joining the Minnesota Vikings, the veteran quarterback has brought with him not only years of NFL experience but also a reputation for blunt honesty, the kind that can cut through locker room niceties like a sharp pass through a tight window. And after Sunday's emotional win, Wentz made headlines again, this time for what he said and didn't say about star wideout Justin Jefferson. It started innocently enough, a post-game question from a reporter about his growing chemistry with Jefferson. Wentz smirked, leaned into the mic, and said, Justin. He's the best receiver I've ever thrown to, but I'll be honest, he's not perfect. He'll tell you that too." That single quote lit up the Minnesota media like fireworks over Lake Minnetonka. What did Wentz mean by not perfect? Was it a shot? A challenge? Or simply a quarterback holding one of the game's biggest stars accountable? A new dynamic in Minnesota. When the Vikings signed Wentz during the offseason, it wasn't supposed to be controversial. He was brought in as a veteran stopgap, someone who could keep the ship afloat while the team evaluated its young talent. But then injuries, inconsistency, and a chaotic early season stretch thrust Wentz into the starting role. And from day one, the chemistry between him and Jefferson was under a microscope. "Carson's a gunslinger," Jefferson said earlier this season. "He trusts his arm. Sometimes a little too much, but I love that energy. He's not scared to take shots." That relationship, quarterback and receiver, trust and timing, is the heartbeat of any offense. And for Wentz and Jefferson, it's been a fascinating dance. Some days, they look unstoppable. Other days, Wentz misses Jefferson on a deep post or Jefferson drops a critical third down catch, and the tension is palpable. So when Wentz said Jefferson isn't perfect, it didn't come from malice. It came from the lens of a quarterback who's been through every NFL storm imaginable, from MVP-caliber heights in Philadelphia to brutal benchings in Washington and Indianapolis. "Look, I've seen what greatness looks like," Wentz continued. "Justin's as close to that as it gets. But he's human. Sometimes, people forget that because he makes it look so easy." Honesty that resonates. Inside the locker room, Wentz's comments reportedly didn't cause friction, they sparked conversation. According to team insiders, Jefferson laughed it off and later told reporters, "Carson's just being real. That's why I respect him." It's easy to see why. Jefferson has never shied away from criticism. Since bursting onto the scene as one of the league's most electric wideouts, he's carried expectations that would crush lesser players. Every route, every drop, every touchdown is dissected on social media. "Pressure's normal for me," Jefferson once said. "But when your QB calls you out, in a good way, it just reminds you that you're still growing. That's what I want. Growth." And for a team still trying to find its identity, that honesty might be exactly what they need. The spark Minnesota needed. After a sluggish start to the season, the Vikings' offense was being labeled inconsistent and out of rhythm. Critics pointed to missed connections between Wentz and Jefferson as a sign of deeper issues. But in the weeks leading up to Sunday's win, things started to click. Against the Browns, Jefferson exploded for 128 yards and a touchdown, his first score since Week 2. Wentz looked poised, patient, and in sync, finally playing the kind of football that made him a household name back in 2017. "Justin makes my job easier," Wentz said. "But I've got to hold him accountable the same way he holds me accountable. That's what great teams do. That's what we're building here." Those words, "building here," hint at something deeper. Wentz, often painted as a journeyman searching for redemption, seems to have found a locker room that values his leadership style. And in Jefferson, he's found a partner who thrives on authenticity. Tough love, Viking style. Football's greatest duos have one thing in common: brutal honesty. Whether it was Brady and Edelman, Manning and Harrison, or Rodgers and Adams, the trust came from the ability to speak truth, even when it stung. Wentz and Jefferson might just be the next in line. During practice earlier in the week, cameras caught Wentz gesturing animatedly after Jefferson ran a slightly off-route slant. Instead of sulking, Jefferson nodded, slapped Wentz on the helmet, and said, "Run it again." They did. This time, perfect execution, touchdown. That's the type of chemistry you can't fake. "Carson's tough," Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell said. "He demands excellence from everyone, including himself. He's been through the highs and lows of this league, so when he speaks, guys listen. And Justin responds to that. It's special." Reputation versus reality. Wentz's NFL journey has been anything but linear. He's been labeled injury-prone, uncoachable, even washed. But those who've watched him in Minnesota say this version of Carson Wentz looks rejuvenated, humbled, focused, and more in tune with the mental side of the game than ever before. And part of that growth comes from learning how to lead without fear of backlash. "I've been the guy who tried to say the right things all the time," Wentz admitted in a recent interview. "Now, I'd rather be honest. If something's off, I'll say it."